This is Rich, Tennessee Homestead. How the heck are you today? Yesterday I did a barn chat. I tried to dump in some latest information that came out on some of the ag business and what's going on, and not looking real good, folks. So I thought I would put them together with the barn chat, and I ended up with a documentary. I mean, it was just way too long. And so this morning I decided I'm going to split these two out in two separate conversations and let it go from there. Saturday night I got to actually stop by Danny and Wanda's out at Deep South Homestead and see their live stream for the first time since they've been doing it. And it was a lot of fun. It really was. But it brought up an interesting topic, and I thought I'd share that with you. A lot of the folks, they were talking about, the getting out of the grocery stores and getting with buying organic. And they were talking about, the pros and cons of the USDA organic certified and blah, they got way off in the weeds with it. And so finally I threw out there, listen, folks, go out there, find your farmer and go meet the farmer. Visit the farm. And let me give you some ins and outs on that. Once you find a farmer, and if they don't want you out at their farm, you don't want to do business with them because you have no idea what's going on out there. Okay? And sad to say, there are some shysters out there who claim to be growing organic, okay, and they're not. Okay? So, be advised. I ran into a guy just a few days back who claims that he was raising his pigs organically, and he wasn't. Okay, so be advised. Like with cattle, if you go out and the guy's got a bunch of cattle he's selling for as a grass-fed, pasture-raised cattle, and you go out there and you see a bunch of troughs sitting around, know that he has all those troughs to feed grain to those cattle. Probably those are not, necessarily grass-fed cattle. Now, when I had cattle up in Illinois, I had quite a few head, folks, and I only had one 10-foot trough that I would run them into the corral for and feed them the wormers. So they got to, and it was similar to a feed, but it was worm medicine. And, one trough for a whole bunch of cows. Okay. So look for things like that. Be a little discerning. Ask to see their machine shed if you don't see their implement sitting out to where you can lay an eyeball on them. If you walk into their machine shed and there's some big sprayers sitting there, you want to ask them, what are you using those for? Watering your lawn? What are you spraying on your fields out there? Okay. Now, you may find that, they have to treat certain crops with some of the regular BT pesticide, which is a safe pesticide. It's good for organic. Some people still argue about it, but now and again, it's either treat it with the BT or lose the crop. And the BT does not leave a residual on the food, so therefore you're not concerned with passing on insecticides to your customers. It's something you can do as needed. I mean, it's not something you want to do, okay, well, it's April, I'm going to go out and spray for bugs. No, it's as needed. If you have an infestation, you use it one time to get rid of that infestation. That's good organic farming. But yeah, if they got a bunch of big spray equipment up there, you want to know what they're spraying on them fields. Sometimes you might even ask if you could get a little sample of their soil. Take it to the extension, have it tested. Tell them you're looking for herbicides and insecticides. That'll tell you what they're using on that field if they're using a herbicide or an insecticide. Okay? So, organic crops will not have clean fields between rows. Okay, unless there's plastic. Okay? If they've got plastic down, of course, no weeds are going to grow on it. But for the most part, if you're truly doing it organically, you are not going to have those shiny, clean rows like you have, you'd expect, especially if you're planting acres. Okay, now you might get out there and hoe an acre or so, but you're not going to get out there and hoe 10 or 15 acres worth of produce. I got to do that. Too time consuming. So be discerning. Get out there and look, and talk to the farmer. Get a feel for them. No, you after talking to somebody for any length of time, you begin to get the feeling whether they're blowing smoke at you or whether they're being honest. Okay, so these are things you want to do: meet the farmer, visit the farm. I'm telling you, folks, you'll probably end up kissing a few tubes before you end up finding your prince. Just be advised. Now, the next thing I saw out there, which made me kind of scratching my head a little bit, was a lady talking about, if you have to eat in the grocery stores, blah, 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 and you don't want your babies being poisoned by this stuff, breastfeed. I thought to myself, this lady is just really not very informed. So let's look at that, okay? If you're eating these foods that are treated and raised in Roundup and so forth, I'm going to kill this chicken. I've ran it out of here about 4 times now. And if you're using, buying in stores where they grow their food in Roundup, which most do, okay, Roundup or one of the others, you already have it in your body, folks. You have glyphosate pumping around in just about every organ you got. Fact. Proven fact. Okay? It gets into your system. Now, on average here in this country, in mother's milk, they're finding that your glyphosate levels in mother's milk is 4 to 8 times higher than what the government says is a safe level. 4 to 8 times. Mother's milk safe? No, it's not. You're still feeding that child glyphosate. But if you were eating in the grocery stores for the 9 months you were carrying that baby, guess what? You've also been feeding it glyphosate. It's in your blood. There you go. So, to people who are looking at, in a year or two, I'd like to have a baby. If you're concerned about that baby's health, and you don't want that baby to be exposed to these poisons, you right now need to get out of them stores and start eating healthy. This stuff will pass through your body. You'll eventually get it out of you. It's not going to be overnight, but it's going to take a while. So you need to start eating right now. Get that junk out of your body. And then, you have good mother's milk. You're healthier. That baby isn't being fed glyphosate while it's in your womb. Okay? Plan ahead a little bit, folks. It can help. Seriously. But anyway, I really enjoyed, watching that with Danny. They're real great people. Great people. So try to keep this in mind when you're thinking about things. If you're still shopping in the grocery stores, you need to watch this update. It's getting a little bit spooky. There's some things on the horizon here that just, as bits and pieces fall into place, and they don't tell you the whole story, folks. They just let the information out a thimbleful at a time, and then when you sit and you put those thimblefuls together, you have a bona fide mess, and we have one coming. And that's what I'm going to talk to you about in this next video, this new GMO update. We have a bona fide mess. Plus, I want to discuss the fact that they're getting ready to start a disinformation campaign, which ties into everything I'm going to be talking about over there. For some reason now, they have to push the consumers into believing that GMOs grown in Roundup is good for you. Nothing wrong with it. Totally safe. Nothing to see here, children. Move along. And there's a method to their madness. There's a reason. Okay? So you need to put pieces together, folks. Stand back and look at the big picture, because this is something that has been long-term coming. Now, I even hate referring back to it because it makes people immediately think tinfoil hat stuff, but the fact of the matter is, Agenda 21 is real. It's a UN plan with maps and 8x10 glossies and, all this. All these biotech companies will tell you that they are 100% behind the UN's plan for sustainable agriculture to be initiated no later than 2030. No later than 2030. One of the things you might want to do is go out. You can go to the UN's website. You can look up the Agenda 21 stuff. Look at the wilderness maps that they have for the world and for the United States. It shows the areas where human occupation is allowed. That's a scary thought, isn't it? Human occupation will be allowed. You have wilderness areas, you have buffer zones, and you have agricultural areas. And if you look at the agricultural areas, it's probably not even 50% of what we have today. Okay, pretty small areas. So that's the master plan that everybody seems to be working off of. And you begin to wonder, how are they going to do that? Okay, now this next update is going to pretty much tell you. They got a plan. They're instituting that plan. And the world out here of social media and so forth are now going to be targeted. Yeah. They're going to start getting in here and really fighting for their cause, because they got to convince you. It's totally great stuff. Don't worry about it. Everybody else is wrong. We're right. Okay? Keep that in mind. So, not to let this go too terribly long, puppies are taken care of. I had a great time out at Danny and Wanda's live chat. I was a little concerned about some of the chat I saw going on. Know your farmers, folks. Get out there, find good organic farmers, because they may not be around forever. You need to be aware of that. If you're looking to get in homesteading, you need to get busy. Very busy right now. And you need to keep, one time I put out, you decide what level you want and things of this nature. The first thing you need to figure out is, what does your family eat in a year? And how much land are you going to have to provide that? That's where you begin, folks. That's where you begin. Because the time's going to come where without it, you're going to pay a terrible price. A terrible price. This is Rich Tennessee Homestead. Hope y'all are paying attention. Trying to let you know what's coming through the business side. And this next video is going to be kind of interesting. So you folks have a wonderful day. God bless you. I love you all. I really appreciate you. And I hope this finds you having an absolutely wonderful day. Talk to you soon.